Another episode of the Garment Decorators podcast. Hello.
Hi, Molly.
How are you?
Helpful, educational.
Research the heat press.
The best podcast conversations we have had.
My business called John McGorrick Design.
With Matt from Print Pro UK.
It's nice to be here.
I have loved this episode. If you're a garment decorator, welcome to the crew. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Garment Decorators podcast. Today, I'm very excited to be joined by Chris from Beechfield. Hi, Chris. How are you? I'm good. Very excited to have you on today. I feel like it's been a while since we've done an episode. Headwear and accessories.
I was just so busy.
No, there's too much going on, isn't there?
What's going on always.
Yeah, so we're just going to catch everyone up today on what's new from Beechfield, because you've got some really cool new styles out that I think everyone needs to be aware of. Let's just jump back to the beginning for a little bit. Can you just give me a quick overview of who Beechfield are and what makes your products stand out in the headwear market? For someone that is maybe new to Beechfield, hasn't heard of you before, maybe this is like the first podcast episode they're tuning into.
Sure. Yeah. So, Beechfield Brands is made up of 4 brands. So we've got Beechfield Headwear. We've got Bag Base, which is the more fashion-led bags. We've got Quadra, which is more sportwear or business. And we've got Western Mill, which is all our kind of cotton tote bags, all our natural fabrics. So with Beechfield Brands, it's all very promotional. So we sell blanks, so people can add their own decoration, they can add their own branding on, and then sell it on as their own. So it's kind of keeping the line between like fashionable, but very, wearable and so business led.
I think that's one of the main reasons working with you guys, because your products are so fashion forward and like trend focused, but they are made with decoration in mind, which is such a big deal when it comes to like printing, embroidery, all of the different decoration types.
Yes, exactly. And it's pretty much, that's my job. Because when it comes to decorating like t-shirts and hoodies and things, it's quite simple. It's all very similar fabrics. So you got cottons or polyesters. Whereas like with headwear and bags especially, there's a lot more kind of different materials used. You got to think about access. So that's kind of my job, to make people's decoration experience as easy as possible, really.
What are some of your most popular or best-selling products right now? Because you have brought some new ones out, which we'll touch on in this episode, but I bet some of the classics are still like the best sellers, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we have our B10, which is our 5-panel cotton cap. Very, huge range of colors. One of our best sellers. It really fits in all kinds of markets. That's probably one of our biggest sellers. Our patch range has just exploded recently, so a selection of caps and beanies that have the cotton patch on the front, which allows you to decorate onto them. Especially when it comes to like beanies, you're really only kind of limited to embroidery or like applique, but having this patch on the front that allows you to print onto it really just kind of opens up kind of decoration methods for people, makes it a lot easier. Yeah,
beanies are aren't they? Because when you can heat press them, but obviously when you go to put them on and you stretch it, the rib fabric in them, it's a tricky one to decorate. So that patch just
exactly flattens, discolors. Yeah, it's not really ideal. So having this concrete like decorationable area on the front really just kind of makes it a lot easier to add your own branding on.
You've got the new one I can see in your screen, the new patch one that's not actually it's not removable, is it? You sent us a couple and I was looking at it the other day.
Yeah, so this is one of our new ones. This is a B636 and it's our applique trucker. So it actually comes with the patch already sewn on the front. Now this is a white cotton patch. Now we've seen this style lots in on the market in fashion brands and things like that. But it just gives you a really nice kind of area to decorate onto, whether that's print or embroidery. So it gives you just a nice little border to add your own decoration on. So that's really, really nice new style of ours. So just really kind of taking what we already do and already know and just kind of expanding it and just making it, a lot more fashionable.
Yeah, I've seen people use that base as like a background to their design. So they'll, rather than do like a patch or like something round, they'll do like a square design, but use the white as like the background of the design and incorporate it, which is really cool.
Yeah, exactly. So you can use the white as part of the design, or I've even done like all over prints, so you can do edge to edge, so it looks like it's just been, kind of sewn on. It's like a real patch. So yeah, really nice style.
So while we're on the topic then, talk me through some of the new ones, because you sent me through some really cool new like fabrics. There was like a suede one in there, velvet, like there's so much going on.
So much going on. So I've got corduroy has been a really popular kind of, it's seen a bit of a resurgence lately. We've seen it a lot. You've like trousers or jackets, that kind of thing. So being able to do like a cord cap to really kind of tie that style in. So this is it's our B680. So it's the 6-panel baseball cap, all in corduroy. It's a cotton corduroy, so it's really nice and soft. It's also very rigid and quite stable as well. So it's got really nice fabric and kind of look to it. So yeah, our corduroy, really popular. And then along with that, we've got the camper style as well. So this is 5-panel with the camper style. Again, really popular at the moment, this kind of camper look. So yeah, just kind of new fabrics that really kind of taken off these past few months.
It's quite retro, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very looking, yes. Yeah, kind of corduroy used to be a thing quite a while ago, and now it's kind of coming back a little bit more. It's a bit more fashionable, where I think a couple of years ago it was very, it's specific demographic that would wear corduroy, but now it's definitely
quite trendy, isn't it? Yeah.
It's very trendy. And even to go along with that, we've got the corduroy bucket hat, so a B687. Again, bucket hats have seen a huge resurgence these past few months, these past few years with festivals. So bringing that material into a bucket hat as well. So you've got the whole collection of corduroy products.
I love that. That's really cool. So talk to me about how Beechfield as a brand stays ahead of trends in terms of styles, in terms of fabrics. Like I said at the beginning, you guys are always at the forefront of new styles that are coming out, and whenever we go to look at new stuff that's coming out here, we're always like, we'll have a look at what's new on Beechfield. How do you do that? Like, how far ahead do you plan? What do you look at to bring the new styles in? Like, for people watching that are buying your products, how does it work?
Yeah, sure. So our product development team are really good at staying ahead of the curve. So they do a lot of market research to see what's coming out. They look at fashion brands, fashion brands plan 2 years in the future. So what they're kind of advertising now is going to be what's going to be popular in next year or the year after. So it's really kind of staying in touch with like these really high fashion brands, what kind of materials they're using, what colors they're using, and really just kind of planning quite far ahead. So they do a really good job of doing all the market research. So, I mean, sustainability, we're really trying to bring that into a lot of our products, even like backdating products that maybe we can update with a more sustainable or environmentally friendly angle. All of our new products this year with Beechfield Headwear have some form of either recycled or organic touch to them. So it's really kind of keeping this whole sustainable conversation going with our new products, and trying to push it as much as possible. I think it's a really important kind of conversation to have, especially when it comes to textiles and fashion.
Yeah. Do you find that's something that customers are asking you for when they're like shopping for products? Is that like one of the main things that they're looking for in a range?
Yeah, more and more actually. Yeah, more and more. I think people are becoming a lot more aware of kind of the impact, especially when it comes to textiles with the dyes and all that kind of thing. People want to be a bit more conscious about what they buy and where it's come from. So yeah, it's definitely becoming more and more kind of prevalent in the sales. We're looking for more environmentally conscious brands.
Yeah, I definitely think it's something that they've got at the forefront of their minds a lot more, whereas a few years ago it might be something that they would consider, but it probably wasn't in like the top 5 things of elements to consider, whereas now I'd say it's probably like in the top 3.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think the more it's becoming more and more it's rolling out a lot quicker. It's becoming a lot cheaper as well, whereas a few years ago, if you wanted something organic or you wanted something more environmentally friendly, there was kind of a bigger price tag attached to it. Whereas it's becoming more and more common And therefore the price is just falling with that. So it's a lot more, accessible to people.
Is there much difference in pricing for the products in the new range, considering that they are a lot more fashion forward? They've got different textures, materials, like you said. They are sustainable, very fashion forward. What is the pricing like on those compared to, like, say, the classic or like basic cap that someone might start with?
Yeah, sure. I mean, we're always really super competitive with our prices. We offer, I think that's what sets Beechfield apart is, we have a price point that's not, not too expensive that people can't afford it, but it still looks like it's an expensive product and it feels expensive, and it's not really flimsy kind of material. It's got this very premium kind of look and feel. So it's about kind of that balance of making it affordable, but also not compromising on, on the word. Compromised on the design, I guess.
Yeah, I understand what you mean, because whenever you get a Beechfield product in your hands, you immediately think that it's something you'd want to wear. Like, it looks and feels like something you would find in a retail store, versus some blank apparel and accessories can be a little bit like cheaper, and you can almost like tell that they're kind of made for like wholesale. Whereas I think the key to being successful when it comes to making like good success for this industry is definitely the quality of the product and having it match like retail standards, if not be better than that. So you're obviously very up to date on the decoration side of the printing, the hats and everything like that. You've been working very hard recently on some tutorial videos as well, that your Beechfield YouTube is flooded with how to things, which I love. But talk me through some of your favorite ways to decorate these new products and how you've found decorating them.
Yep. So, I mean, like you say, recently we've got our own little decoration how-to YouTube channel, which has really kind of taken off, and it's kind of just this hub of how to decorate our products in different ways, giving people, a chance to look through and think, oh, I didn't realize this could be decorated in this way, and rather than just having a written out email that I might send to someone, having a more visual thing that people can look at and rewind and just see that it is possible. But my background's in embroidery. I've always loved embroidery. And then, DTF has taken off massively at the moment. That technology is constantly kind of evolving. So it's really about kind of staying ahead of the curve and what's possible now that wasn't a year ago, and how it's all changing, and just staying adapting and keeping that kind of information fresh and new for people.
Yeah, I one of the things I was really surprised about I say surprised, I shouldn't say surprised because it shouldn't have been surprising to me, but the cap that you've got there that's got like the puff finish to it. That one, the like trucker. We printed those at a trade show earlier this year, and I was actually almost expecting it to crush a little bit under the heat press, because it's quite a 3D dimensional like product when you look at it. But because we used the upper and lower heat on the 360, we like lightened the pressure a bit. Not too much of the heat came from the top, so it didn't crush it as much. And we were putting like screen print transfers on them, which normally for hats they work, but you might need like a blocker to thicken it up a bit. They went on so smoothly, and they looked fantastic, especially with like the neon inks and the bright colours of the caps you've got. Like,
I mean, it's very bright. So it deserves a very bright design on the front. So
we put like neon pink and neon yellow on it, and it looked incredible. How many colours does that one come in? Because obviously that's the yellow and blue. There's a few variations, right?
Yes, there is a few variations. So the have all got kind of contrast kind of design and colour. So it comes in 4 different colours. So all different kind of peaks, and then the mesh at the back is different colours as well. So really kind of nice colours. So we've got the red and navy, kind of got chocolate and amber, and a black and dark olive as well. So some really lovely colours.
Oh, black and dark olive I like the sound of.
Something a bit more, a bit deeper.
Yeah, it's a bit more sort of camouflage, isn't it, rather than like bright. Right. I can imagine. Yeah, I can imagine the neon ones for like festival season throughout the summer are probably really popular. So, how are there any upcoming styles in the new range that you think decorators should be keeping an eye out for or considering adding to their range? Because you've added quite a few. If someone was like fairly new to decorating or like just adding hats into their range and then expanding to the different fabrics rather than just your classic like cap, for example, what would your, let's say, like top 3 styles be? It doesn't have to be all from the new collection, but just from everything that Beechfield have, what would top 3 like speciality products be you'd recommend someone try out?
So, I mean, our vintage kind of style caps, so this kind of washed, almost denim look, these have been so popular. I mean, we have our original 6-panel. So that's the B6 by 5. So a 6-panel cap, super popular. So we decided to do a 5-panel version. For people who either prefer a 5-panel or 6-panel, so having that kind of, you know, expansion in the range. Vintage, this kind of washed denim look is just taken off. It's been really
everywhere. It's all over socials. It's all I see when it comes to caps now is that style.
Yeah. So we even have a kid size coming out for this style. So we're really kind of opening it up to the whole family. And vintage bucket hats as well. You know, just really kind of using this material and kind of expanding on it.
Okay, so vintage being number 1. What's number 2?
I think bucket hats in general. I think if you're not getting a bucket hats friend, you really need to.
Easy to print as well. We've got the round 18 centimeter round platen, and Beth was last summer like experimenting around with printing like the top of the bucket hat as well. So you can print the top of it with the round, and then if you put the side of it on the 360, you can print the whole way around the like panel of the bucket hat as well. It's really funny. So that's okay, so vintage wash, bucket hats in general, and then what's number 3?
Number 3. Coming out. I think there's just a lot more poppy colours coming out in our new range. We've got a lot of colour additions, you know, whereas I think a few years ago, it all used to be black, navy, kind of color. We're now seeing a huge, like, increase in, like, pop colours, so, like, pinks and bright yellows. So we've got, there's a whole range of kind of new additional colours coming out for some of our existing products, really just kind of encapsulate, you know, that bright, vibrant, in-your-face kind of colour. I think people like the idea of a bit more colour in the wardrobe now, whereas, you know, a few years ago, it used to just be, you know, used to be the dark colours when it comes to headwear, but I think people are a lot more open to something a bit more exciting and a bit more fun.
Yeah, and even that we've seen the same with the neon inks as well. Like they've definitely taken off in the last like 6 to 12 months versus the previous years, because it is becoming more of a thing now to wear more vibrant colours. And I think especially with like hats, even if it's not the whole outfit, someone will be more inclined to have like a pop of colour in an accessory rather than like their full-blown outfit. Although people do that and I'm not mad about it.
A little something subtle, you know.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm curious about the different types of hats and how you'd recommend people advise customers on what to do. So for example, with apparel, normal fit versus oversized fit, like pretty self-explanatory. We kind of all roughly know how to explain that one if a customer was to come to us and be like, what would you recommend? But in terms of caps, there's the ones that sit slightly higher on your head. There's the ones that sit slightly lower. You've got the different panels. How do you go around, about choosing the best fit, shape, like for comfort, for the different styles? Like there's so much that goes into that when it comes to hats. And I feel like it's something that we don't really know enough about. So you just run me through like the different types that you've got and how you'd recommend a printer like communicate those different types with their customer into like what they're trying to achieve, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, a lot of it comes down to personal style. Like you say, you've got the high build caps, which have the really structured front, or you've got the kind of more fitted caps without the kind of thicker buckram. so that gives you a lot more fitted style on your head. 6-panel and 5-panel, obviously, like we've said. So 6-panel seems to tend to sit a lot higher, whereas 5-panels are a lot more curved to your head. And then obviously curved peak and flat peak, which is this little bit here.
Mm-hmm.
So either flat peak or curved peak. A lot of it's personal style, to be honest, and it's how you want, how you want your cap to fit. If you want it to sit on your head slightly higher, if you want it to be a bit more fitted, it's really just about kind of trying, finding a style that suits you. Everyone's so someone else's head might not fit your head. So it's really just about kind of trying different styles and find the one that fits you.
Would you recommend people have, like, if they have a showroom space, for example, or just like maybe they have a room attached to like where their workshop is and they do have customers come in, do you think it's a good idea for them to have maybe like, say they have 4 or 5 hat styles that they offer to print people, like to have one of each so that they can come in and try them on? Because like you said, everyone's like heads are such different shapes, like what I would wear versus what Andy and what Beth would wear. Like I've got this real thing about if I wear caps and they like sit above my ears and then my ears stick out, like I don't like it. I can't wear them. They cover my ears, whereas like Andy doesn't care about that.
Yeah, it's small things, it's how it sits on your head here and where it fits here. And yeah, there's lots of small little differences between people and what they can like. So I think stocking a lot of different styles, having curved peak and a flat peak and a 6-panel and a 5-panel and a trucker. I think just having a selection for people and, people can try them on and find the one that fits them.
Yeah, exactly. I found that when we first started using the vintage ones you're talking about, and I put them on and I was like, it's just that bit too small. Wear them, don't get me wrong, but like it's not the perfect fit for my head. But then also part of me is like, is that just because my head's too big? Like, would it fit someone else's head better than it fits mine? Probably.
Yeah.
So talk to me a little bit about what you would recommend someone doing if they wanted to do bundles. So we talk a lot about selling t-shirts with hoodies and maybe adding in jackets and creating, for example, like workwear bundles for people rather than just selling them the one-off to like increase their profit margins and just make like their average order go up in general. But how would you recommend someone do that with hats? So I guess there's like 2 examples. If you're purely running a hat business or like a headwear brand, how do you increase the value and the average order value for that? Like, how do you bundle different hats together? And then as a second part to that question, if you're selling apparel, obviously you add hats in as a bundle, but like, how would you recommend people going about that?
Sure. Yep. So, I mean, I think this can be such a huge markup on caps and headwear, you can, I think the B10 and B15, there were a couple of quid to buy. You put a design on there and you're selling them for, 15, 20 quid. So there is a large markup on hats, and it's such an easy way to decorate as well. So I think if people aren't offering headwear as a kind of decoration, like especially like with workwear, people are using headwear a lot more on like construction sites and having beanies for winter. So I think just offering the kind of some headwear to go along with the rest of your outfit and your workwear, it's really going to kind of elevate your your look and what you're selling. So I think being able to offer, I think that is probably the best way to do it, and have them expand into it and expand into headwear.
Yeah. Are there any particular products that you think go well together? Like if someone was just running a hat business on their own, like say they just had like a 360 press and they were doing different types of decoration onto your hats, which like, I don't know, 2 or 3 would you say probably match the best together if someone was offering a bundle? Because like you probably wouldn't sell someone like a vintage cap and a hatch cap, but you might sell them like the vintage cap and the cord bucket hat, for example, something like that.
Yeah. So, I mean, our B25 is probably it's definitely one of my favorites when it comes to printing. So it's 5-panel, so it gives you a really nice kind of area to print onto, and it's got a bit more stability as well. So I think if you're going to start, getting into the headwear, I think the B25 is a good kind of starting point when it comes to decoration.
From your perspective, how has the demand for custom headwear changed over the last few years?
I think people are just paying a lot more attention to it. I think, like I say, when people were decorating things for people's work or like I said, like construction sites, it was all just kind of high vis or t-shirts and things like that. Whereas now people are just want this little extra product with their own branding on, and caps and headwear is kind of the next step in that. What else can we put our logo on and our branding on and sell it to people and people can wear. So it's definitely, it's fashion, you see it in the fashion market, but you also see it in the workwear market as well. People just want the kind of next level of customization.
I think people are definitely a lot more aware of like the different options that are available now as well. Like before, they'd probably be quite content with just like a plain black 5 or 6 panel cap, and they wouldn't really dig much into it. But now that there's so many options for decoration and having different styles of hats, and because of that, there's more of them out and about on the streets every day, customized with branding. People are like, oh, why don't I have that one? Or why does mine not look like that? And they're like asking their print suppliers for those styles now, rather than just like accepting like the basics, if you like.
Yep. Yeah. And it's becoming like, people might not have gone into that market because they didn't know how to decorate it, or they weren't sure like what they could do to it. And, and people are becoming a lot more confident about, how to decorate things. So I think people are kind of seeing the benefit of, having a decorated or branded piece of headwear.
Yeah. Have you found it difficult decorating onto the cord products at all?
I've had a few questions about the cord products, and people, because we had a few decorated samples at the big shows, and people see the print on them and think, "Oh wow, I didn't think this was possible." You can pretty much print on anything with the right know-how.
Definitely, yeah. And I mean, of all the people to ask at Beechfield, you're definitely the expert because you've probably printed the most hats. Everyone in that building. For the Yeah, you'll find a way always. But for the speciality fabrics, like the lower heat on the 360 press, which I know you have one as well, really does make such a difference, because it doesn't, like we said with the puffer, like the more puffy hat, technical term, I know that's not technically probably how you say it. It doesn't like crush the fabric on the top, and that's one of the things that you want to avoid, obviously, because the whole point of having a hat is the texture and the finish.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I actually used your foam panels that you use for printing. Use that when I printing onto cord, because it just protects the ridges a little bit more, so it gives you that little bit of cushion rather than just kind of pushing the material. So yeah, it's just about kind of finding that right balance of time, temperature, and then any kind of protective cover that you're putting on top as well.
Exactly. And for anyone listening that's curious about the foam pads that Chris is talking about, they are the white foam pads that come with the 360 IQ press. However, you can buy them separately on styles.co.uk. So if you've got a 360 press and you've maybe worn yours out, or you just want one for some reason, another press or something like that, you can buy them just on their own. And they do make printing on hats like that super easy. That combined with the lower heat, it's like the dream method, I think.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, works really well. Yeah.
So are there any trends that you can sort of foresee becoming a thing in the next like 12 to 18 months, if people are maybe starting to get into headwear, or they're already running their business and they're looking to get ahead of the trends? With your like year to 2 year in advance trend reports that you guys have, what are you seeing that's like coming for next year?
So we're seeing a lot more kind of contrast truckers. So I mean, like with our foam one, where you've got a different coloured kind of peak compared to like So we're seeing a lot more kind of contrast, maybe not as vibrant and bright as this, but something a bit more muted, but still have the different kind of colour peak and then a different colour on the front panel there. So yeah, we're seeing a lot more kind of that style. I think it's kind of like, a lot more. It's very American style. I think it's very like kind of this baseball cap or sport wear. So yeah, we've got that kind of style. Definitely kind of keep an eye out for those. They're really lovely as well. So definitely can't wait for them to kind of come out.
100%. Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? Because I feel like when I first started here and we were talking about when the 360 hat press first came out and the opportunities that it gave decorators was so big. And I don't really think people were that into caps at the time and hats. It was like slowly coming over from America, like people were getting into wearing them more. And now, like you say, all the trends that are coming through from the US are filtering through to the UK market now. So people have gotten used to wearing caps and they've gotten used to wearing bucket hats. And now they're like, oh, I want that varsity style one. I want that baseball style one.
Yeah.
And like everything that you guys are making now is kind of mimicking those trends. And it's just really funny to see it like come full circle. People like not wearing hats at all to like going full on like baseball fan.
Even like something with a huge logo on the front as well. You know, just something really in your face and out the air. It's a very kind of American style that's just kind of cracked over, and you see more over here now.
It's funny because I did a live stream on Friday, I think it was, and by the time this podcast comes out, it probably would have been like a couple of months ago. But talked about oversized prints in general, because obviously with like apparel you can order like A4, A3 size prints, but the press is obviously 40 by 50, so you can print if any like a centimetre or two off the edge of that platen. The amount of comments and questions and like attention that drew for that particular live was just crazy. And that's what you're talking about, like the oversized cap prints, like that's a massive trend.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just very in your face, very out there, very, this is my brand.
Literally. Yeah. I love it though. I'm not going to lie. I really enjoy it. Like I've made it's just like have and wear like on the weekends here. And I've been like, oh, I really like that style. And I've kind of copied it, like made a reel out of it and then been like, oh, I'm going to keep that because like it is oversized prints. And you're like, oh yeah, that's kind of cool.
Nice. Yeah.
The other one that I noticed at P&P was is it the one on the mannequin, the head that you've got there, the one that's got like the contrast stitching on it? I saw that for the first time at Printwear this year, and I just fell in love with it. It's not even the vintage wash is my first favorite thing. The contrast stitching gives it such a premium look, but the feel of it as well, which you can't really get on camera, but it feels so premium. Even like the mesh at the back is like,
yes, it really does. Yeah, because we find a lot of meshes, it's very harsh. It's quite
a bit plasticky.
Yeah. Whereas this, it's a really soft mesh. It's a lot fitted as well. So there's no kind of backing inside on the buckram. So it just gives you a really nice fitted look with the soft mesh, whereas regular meshes, it's just kind of a bit pointy.
A bit stiff.
Yes. Yeah. And like you said, with the contrast stitching as well, it's a really lovely style. Again, it's the washed kind of denim look, which we've seen a lot of. So just kind of combining those kind of two ideas of the trucker with the
No, I just saw it on the mannequin next to you, and I was like, I swear that was the one that I said to the team at the time. Like, that's yeah. What is your personal favorite at the moment? Like, out of everything, what's your go-to?
My go-to, I think the 5-panel vintage is probably the one. I've got a few colours of these at home. I think 5-panel suits my head. I've got a massive head, so we kind of need something a little bit more fitted to kind of hide it all. And especially like the black. I mean, I wear a lot of black, obviously. So having black vintage cap is probably one of my favourite. I've probably got a few of them as well.
I've got the pink and the blue at home of those two, and again, like I wear like mostly neutral colours, but like they're having that pop of colour. I love it.
Yes, very nice.
One more question before we wrap up, Chris, and this is kind of related to caps, but also to Beechfield in general. What is something surprising about Beechfield Brands that somebody might not know?
Beechfield Brands company or Beechfield Brand?
Just in general, like a bit of question. Yeah, but I was kind of curious because obviously you've had like your 30th birthday this year, which is a massive achievement, and I was just thinking, I was like, in those like 30 years there's got to be something about like the brand or like the way you make your products, or I don't know, just something that people would be like, oh my god, I had no idea that Beechfield did that.
Sure. I mean, it's a very family atmosphere of Beechfield. Everyone has a specific job that they do that they're incredibly good at. We have an amazing team, but everyone just works so close together with other departments. But it's it's such a lovely kind of environment, and so much work and effort that goes into these products, these incredible products. So yeah, it's just a very like lovely family vibe at Beechfield. You know, everyone just works so hard and puts out these incredible products. So it's really is a pleasure to kind of work here.
And everybody cares about the product they're outputting, right? That's kind of the same at Stars. Everybody wants to produce the best possible product they can because we genuinely care about the end user. And that's why we love working with brands like you guys, because we can produce such a great product together for our customers to then go off and like build successful businesses from.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, it would be so easy to just put out the same caps every single year and just like slight differences. But we really want to keep things fresh. We really want to keep things interesting. We really want to follow these fashion trends and keep things, you know, everything looking good and make, you know, just making, you know, fantastic products all the time and just trying to make fashionable things that people will like and buy and enjoy.
And actually want to wear. That's the biggest thing I've found. Like when I first started here, it was so easy to just put like white prints on black shirts and like leave it at that. But now I find myself making products with particular blank brands and like particular styles and trends because I actually want to wear them rather than it just being like a small left chest, white on black shirt, kind of like corporate, you know, style.
What's been done 1,000 times before, you know, you got to keep it interesting.
Exactly. Yeah. So Chris has actually sent me a massive box of all of the new hats that they've got coming out. So we are going to have some tutorial videos on how to apply them, some close-up looks, lots of content over the next, I would say probably like 6 months, to be honest. There's a lot in that box coming out for people who view. So make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube channel if you're not already to be the first to see those videos. And Chris, if people want to get hold of products from Beechfield or reach out to you guys with questions, how can they go about doing that?
Yeah, so you can head to beechfieldbrands.com. So it's got a whole range of products on there. And for decoration tutorials and how-tos, it's YouTube Beechfield Brands PDD, so product decoration videos. Any questions as well, you can add like comments. They're read every single day. And if we don't have a video, I can get on it and make one for you. So
there you go. Give Chris a challenge and ask him how to decorate a particular hat and he'll make a video. Oh, brilliant. Chris, thank you so much for taking the time to sit down and talk me through all the new products today. It's been a pleasure. No problem. And for everyone listening, please don't forget to like and subscribe because we'll be back with another podcast episode very soon.